Hi everyone, this is Matilda and Veronica with you today. Veronica already showed the short spine on me the last video, and today is dedicated to perhaps showing you guys a couple of hands-on that I do, and maybe even some modifications for people who have trouble with it. Okay, so we're going to get Veronica down, and we're going to get straps on the bottom of her feet. So everything that Veronica said in our first video that's all going to hold here. So that's not really going to be about the breath and choreography here. I will speak it, but it's more about what I do to help people find the places in their body that are sometimes a little elusive. As we say, the first thing we're going to do is make sure you roll out of your low back before you stretch your legs out so that the springs don't actually sit in the lumbar and rather live in the hip joint. Now you want to stand through the straps. A lot of people will start to lose the straps. So as she exhales to start to rise up, right? She's going to rise up. I'll just kind of push into the feet, and she's going to bring herself all the way up. And if I can just kind of push her up into the feet, this kind of keeps her hooked into the straps throughout. As she inhales to bend, I will actually kind of hold the sacrum and kind of help bend and curl her into herself, keeping her on the strap. And then she's going to roll from sternum all the way down. The back of the knees get to open. You don't get to collapse your quad down onto your chest if you keep standing onto the straps, yeah? And you're going to keep the strength of the hip, bringing the pelvis down, and then you're just going to cup the feet and bring that back in, okay? We'll go again with that. I'm just going to show what I will do. So Veronica talked about people taking their hands off or their wrists off because they don't have the strength of the platform of the arm. Typically, it's because the shoulders will roll in. They have a little bit more tightness through the front of the chest. That gets a little challenging. So you want to really try a couple cues. One would be, to open across the front of your chest. The other is just pay attention to the placement of your hand. You want to imagine that you're kind of like molding your hand down onto the reformer bed, and you'll see if you're tight across the chest or the thoracic spine. It's not just the chest. If your thoracic does not flex properly, you'll go from going into a round flexion into more of a flat back, that whole swan stuff, and that will actually pull your hands up a little bit, or you'll kind of start doing the teepee fingers and wrists. So create that strong platform down. Don't let your fingertips move at all. Okay, so you're going to drop the legs into the back of the hips, stretch the legs out all on an inhale. Stand strong through the feet. Exhale to peel you up. Push the arms down and try to actually push the reformer bed forward with your arms. You feel how that's helping your sternum kind of settle down. It's not easy, but it helps the push of the arms forward. Now, when I see the sternum pretty tight, I'll take the hands here. You find your feet. Then I'll take my hand down into their sternum, and I will say, go ahead and bend your spine around my hand. And I'll push pretty powerfully into the sternum. I'll take the sacrum up and over. I'll say, keep pushing into your feet, and I'll hold that sternum down, and then she's going to roll down through her sternum. She's going to keep her hammies up onto her feet so that there's not a collapse of the legs onto the chest, and then use the strength of the back of the hips to bring it back down again. How's that feel?
Oh yeah,
It's
very
a lot,
needed.
Yeah. This is a big place for people because you'll see that they'll kind of just tip and land more on a vertical. The other thing, let's go one more. I'm going to let Veronica do the work herself, and then I'm going to just guide her pelvic girdle and her shoulder girdle in the position that maybe we don't really think much of talking about. So she's going to inhale, get the hips way down so that the strength of the spring comes into the hip. Exhale, peel up. You're basically jackknifing up. And even there, right as she starts to go up immediately, I'll kind of almost do that. Now, the pelvis comes up and over this way, and the feet kind of catch it, but your rib cage goes down and under, right? So the ribs actually are moving in towards the cervical and the sacrum towards the feet, yeah? And then as she rolls down, try not to move the pelvis so quickly. Allow the thoracic spine, the mobility, yes, keep allowing the ribs, that's it, to move up as you roll your spine down, and then bring that all the way back down again, okay? So those are some hands-on. Now, if people with low back, tuckers, this is really, really hard for them. They will complain about their back. Or if you have tight hamstrings, there's all sorts of things that happen. The first video is saying that you really need to get the weight of the pelvis down and the weight off your lumbar spine. So that is an absolute must. So she's going to inhale, bring the pelvis down. So you're going to make like a pelvic print, stretch the legs out. Now, as she rises up, this is the most challenging part. If you go past a 90, you see what's going to happen is that you're going to roll through your lumbar spine. So you're flexing the lumbar too heavily and you put pressure down into it. So you're going to keep your knees semi-soft, bring the legs up. Now push the arms down and forward as you rise up into your jackknife position. You can also, when you bend, you want to imagine that your low back, for someone who's a little more tucky, lift your lumbar with your sacrum up into the back of the knees. Now, don't even change the shape of your spine, just roll down in your rolling like a ball. Right? Just roll that down. That's really, really nice for a lot of people because the stress of extending the knee joint as you're rolling your spine down, that if you don't have the strength in your hips to hold your hips up onto your feet, all of your weight falls into your low back. And that's typically, they collapse and that's where they feel, that's where, and then that's why it hurts because there's nothing holding you up.
No support.
There's no support. There's no suspension. So just take your rolling like a ball and bring it down, and it still feels beautiful because you're still getting the flexion on the up. Yeah. You bend, you lift and curl there, and now just take that shape, roll it down.
Yeah, right? I'm glad you showed that one.
Yeah, it's just nice and it's just good and easy.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's it. I think that's all I do for modifications.
Yeah, well, you know, every human.
You could, okay, there's one other.
Oh, there is, okay.
So this is really nice for the sternum. So what you're going to do is, so go ahead and stretch the legs out. Jackknife yourself up. Now take your hands onto the posts.
Yep.
Now push the posts away from you. There, and you see how it gets your sternum heavy? So push the posts towards the feet and then get your butt over and keep pushing the post and keep there. Now what the push of the post does is it kind of does what I was doing with my hand, and it's to get the sternum heavy, yeah? And then you can start to just roll from top to bottom or roll the whole thing out, whatever you like to do. So that's really helpful in getting people to feel
some more thoracic flexion.
More thoracic flexion, yeah.
Instead of going the neck.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
All right. Okay, there you go. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.